Welcome to the Legacy Lifestyle Show, where men and women come together to hash out the struggles of pursuing a healthy lifestyle and a mix of everything else life has to throw at them.
We are your hosts, Griffin and Kate Jerky, and we're excited to share with you stories of struggle and victory when it comes to being married, having young, active kids, and finding the right balance for both mom and dad to pursue goals in health and fitness.
We certainly aren't perfect, and we are far from having it all figured out. But our hope is that you can relate to us or even a guest we have on the show.
So put in some earbuds or crank up the volume in the minivan because it's time to finally create your legacy.
Welcome everybody, Griffin with Legacy Fitness here, guys. And today on this podcast, what we are going to talk about is 6 things that you can do to make your life better, right? And these 6 things, they're going to challenge you, right? Because I'm going to call you out. I'm going to talk to you about some of my personal experiences, some of my personal struggles, some of the things that I have started to do to get better, some of these areas where I think that I've overcome some of these tasks that have been challenged to me. So the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is building resilience in your life, right? People are weak. Men are weak. I was weak in a lot of areas in my life. I really struggled for a long, long time. And it's all about getting tough, right? It's about taking on your struggles with passion and purpose and figuring out really what you want. What are you made of, right? When the fight gets tough, what are you going to do? Are you going to cave in? Are you going to step up to the task? Are you going to step up to the challenge? Are you going to overcome these things that are put in your way? Because life is going to be filled with roadblocks that are going to knock you on your ass every single day, every single week. Sometimes it seems like every little thing keeps building up. What do you have to overcome it, right? And so this is where you got to get knocked down and you got to pick yourself up. Get your ass up off of the turf, off of the mat, and go fight for what you want. Stop feeling sorry for yourself and start taking action and control of your life, because when you do that, guys, things are going to start moving forward. What we don't want to do is continue to dwell on the things that aren't going our way and say, poor me. I did that for a long time, right? Like I used excuse after excuse, and every obstacle in my way, I gave it about a 2-second fight, and the second it pushed back harder, I caved in. No longer, guys, you have to step up. There's going to be zero change in your life without pain. You got to go through the fire, guys. You got to go through the gauntlet, because that's what's going to get you tough. That's what's going to get you calloused in life. And you need to start developing some confidence in yourself. So as you go through these trials and tribulations and these things that are challenging you, you're going to start to gain confidence that you can take on more. We don't need to take on the world on day one. All we need to do is start getting a little bit tougher towards those problems in life and stand up for yourself. And when you do that, things are going to turn out. But it's not just a one-day thing. It's every single day, every single decision that goes on with you and in your life. You got to step up. You got to be tough. Like I said, guys, you have to go through the pain. The pain is what makes it great when you achieve it. I'm telling you, stick up for yourself, build some resistance, and you are going to be so much happier. The second thing I want to talk to you guys is about having healthy relationships in your life. We all have relationships, and relationships can be a couple of different things. They can be with people, friends, family, coworkers, things of that nature. And they can also be relationships with habits that we have. The smoking, the drinking, the eating poorly, or maybe a relationship on a good side, working out, taking care of yourself, doing things with your family that you enjoy, right? Like these are relationship type things. So why do some relationships fail and why do some succeed? We really need to figure that out. And as you start breaking down these types of relationships in your life, let's start thinking about which ones do we want to enhance? Which relationships can we look at in our life and say, these things are helping me grow. These things are pushing me to be a better person. These things are pushing me to be a better dad. And when we can start identifying these relationships, we can start taking action towards these other relationships in a couple of different ways. One, we can get rid of them. If they're not serving you and you don't see any value, let's get rid of these things. Let's get rid of these relationships that we've been holding on that are only hurting us, that are harming you, right? We don't need those in our life. So let's step up. You can also, instead of getting rid of them, start taking action to start changing those things, right? Have a tough conversation with somebody. Tough conversations are hard, but they always can move things forward. So if there's a relationship you're in and you're not happy with it, let's just have an honest, open conversation and you can start moving forward. But creating more healthy relationships in your life is so important. You hear people talk about all the time how your life is a direct reflection of the 5 closest people to your life. I think that's very true in some regards, but it can also be when it comes to like your habits and stuff. Let's start creating those positive relationships there. So the better relationships you have with people and with the things in your life, the better off you're going to be. The third thing, and this might be of the 6 things that I'm going to talk about today, this is one that I have personally really struggled with for a long time. And it's mastering your emotions, right? And if you've ever got on a phone call with me, if you've ever listened to me, I talk about this a lot in terms of motivation. I hear it all the time. I need to be motivated to work out. I'm not motivated to do this. I need motivation, right? Like that's an emotion that people are relying on in order for them to start taking action. We don't want that because emotions are like a roller coaster, guys. Things can flip like a light switch, right? You can wake up, everything can be going great, and one little thing can change the entire trajectory of your life or your day and just change the way that you're looking at things. We don't want to be that vulnerable, right? And so me, like I'm a hothead, like I get fired up really easy and it takes a lot of effort and I still need a lot of work in this area to start controlling my anger, my hostility, my raw emotion towards the subject. And that's either both good and bad. We want to be a little bit more on an even keel. We want to learn how to control our emotions and harness them to channel those things to be more productive. For instance, today I had a bunch of bad things happen in my business and I sat and dwelled on it and I kind of gave myself the sob story for about 2 minutes. And what I said is, I can't let this affect my action towards my business. And I stepped up. I had a conversation with a business mentor that went amazing. And it really changed how I wanted to do things. It changed how I was looking at things. It really made me start looking and say, you know what? I can dwell on where it is now, or I can start being positive and start making those changes. And if you can start doing this on a day-to-day basis, guys, things are going to just get so much better for you. But you have to learn to control it because there's too many things going on in our life that can dictate whether we feel good or bad about something. We don't want that. We want 100% control or as much control as you can possibly get. Like I said, this is tough. This is really tough because something, my kids could run downstairs right now and they could make me the happiest dad in the world, or they could do something that absolutely drives me crazy. How am I going to respond? Right? And when you can control your actions towards those things, you can control your emotions, you're going to be so much better off. The fourth thing, guys, and this took me a long time to find, is I want you to figure out and find your purpose. Like Mark Twain said, the 2 greatest days in your life are the day that you're born and the day that you found out why. What are you here for? What are you designed to do? Why did God create you? Right? And so you need to start figuring out what's going on and you need to start taking actions towards those things, right? Find a greater sense of the meaning of life. And this is a really deep thing. Like, what are you supposed to do? And it's like I said, this can continue to change. And it took me a while to figure, like, what I'm designed to do is I'm designed to help people take their life back. I was living in the shadows and the darkness and depressed and in a bad marriage and a bad dad and just a grumpy guy who was fat and everything was going wrong. And I had a really serious conversation with myself, looked myself in the face in the mirror, and I said, I got to do something different. And as I started to personally change and start changing everything in my life, my vision towards what I was supposed to do started to become clear. I know I have the ability to help people. I know I have the ability to help men and husbands and dads and moms start taking control of their life again because I felt like crap for so long and I learned how to take myself out of that and I love sharing that with other people. But it took me a while to discover that. I had to peel back a lot of layers. And what I'm doing today is entirely different than what I thought I would be doing maybe 10 or 15 years ago. And as I started to inch closer and closer to the man that I had become and to the person that I know that I want to be and to the things that I want to achieve, it started to get more clear. I love to have honest conversations with people and I love to challenge people to step up for themselves. But you have to start taking those steps towards that person that you want to be. And it's a lot of steps. And sometimes it's just a little step forward every day. Other times it can be really big steps, but you have to figure out what you're supposed to do. Stop dwelling. Stop just treading water in life. David Goggins is a guy that really has inspired me. And in his book, he said, my life was a 300-pound guy spraying for cockroaches. And that's what I would have done for the rest of my life. But I started to find a bigger purpose. I started to identify that I was meant for more than that, right? And I don't know where you are today, but that doesn't have to be where you stay. And you have to be big enough to start digging and challenging yourself and finding that purpose in your life. And that really ties into the next thing, guys, is challenge your beliefs, all right? And this is really apparent in our world today. Like, people are really set and stuck on their certain level of beliefs. We need to be bigger than that. We need to be able to grow. Like, don't be afraid to grow. Don't be afraid to learn. Like, let's start using some critical thinking, right? Figure out if the beliefs that you're having towards something or a person or a topic or a subject or whatever it may be, are they helping or are they hurting you? Right? And when you can start really diving in and trying to get a sense of where somebody else is coming in, I think it's going to really open your eyes to how the world is working, right? And that doesn't mean you need to change your beliefs, but I think it's good to continue to challenge them. Like, don't be stuck like this is how it has to be. Continue to challenge it. And when you start challenging it, you're going to personally grow. So it's great to have your beliefs. I also believe that it's great to start trying to look at things from another person's perspective. And when you can do that, you're going to get a better understanding of where they're coming from and a better idea of how you can communicate with that person and a better idea of how you can strengthen that relationship. The last thing that I want to talk to you guys about, number 6 here, is setting actionable goals, right? And this is something that I certainly took for granted for a long, long time. Like, you hear it all the time, write down your goals, create a vision board. How often do people do it? Very, very rarely, right? And so what you need to do is you need to create a plan. So establish what type of goals that you want. Like, set some actionable goals, create a plan towards getting there. Like, lay out the steps that at least you think initially that you're going to need to take. And I'll tell you, those steps are going to change, but we want to know at least kind of the path that we need to take. And if we need to pivot or change, we can certainly do that. But what's that next step? What's that next thing that you can do towards getting towards where you want to be? There are so many goals that I have in my life. And when I lay out a path towards getting there, I know I'm going to take those steps towards that. But if I don't, right? If I don't talk about those next steps, I always struggle to take that first step. So establish what you want, create a plan, and then start taking actions towards your dreams. Dreams is a really big word, and you hear it thrown around a little bit. I think the older you get, the less and less you hear about it. And the great thing about dreams as a kid is it's almost like you're using a sense of your imagination of what is possible in this life, right? And as we start getting set in our ways and as life starts kicking in, I think our dreams start fading away. And I had a coach talk to me the other day and said, what are your dreams? What do you want to accomplish? And it had been, honestly, a while since I had really started putting pen to paper and figuring out what I want. And he suggested I make a vision board. And it's on my list of things to do, and I know I need to do it, but I can start picturing things that I want in my life. And when I can picture exactly what I want, I know I'm then going to be able to start creating steps towards accomplishing those things. And when you have that vision, you have that purpose, you have those dreams that you want to go for, you're going to push and you're going to challenge yourself and you're going to do all the things that we talked about building resilience in your plan and creating healthy relationships to help you get there and starting to control your emotions so that every single day, no matter how you're feeling, you can start moving in that direction. Finding your purpose, guys, is huge. And when you find that purpose, it's going to help propel those dreams forward. Challenge your beliefs, guys. When you challenge yourself, you're going to grow. And people can get very, very complacent in their lives with where they're at. We don't want that. We want you to continue to grow every single day. Set those goals, guys. Set actionable goals. Start taking steps towards doing that, and you can accomplish some amazing, amazing things. So Griffin Jerky with Legacy Fitness, guys, I hope you got a lot out of this. I love sharing things like this. I plan on doing this more frequently. But really, guys, think about what you want. And then let's start taking some steps towards doing that. Create that legacy, guys. You deserve it. The people around you deserve it. And it's time we start moving in that direction. Create that legacy, guys.